Okay, let's go live. It's James Maduk speaking. Are you ready to build your education business, but not really sure which tools to use? Well, today what I want to do is I want to show you the exact sets of tools that I use to research, create, and market online courses. And these are the ones that I use, and I'm going to share them with you even if you're just starting out. So it doesn't matter if you're like a YouTube creator or a first-time course creator, you're starting to or wanting to build an education business. These tools and a workflow I'm going to share with you make it a lot easier. And in fact, I think 99% of them are free, or the free tools you can use will be fine. And these, for the most part, are all AI tools. So the three topics I'm going to cover is, first of all, kind of the challenges that most people run into. Secondly, we'll take a look at the tools that I use. And again, they'll be for beginners. And then hopefully I'll be able to ask or answer the most common questions that come up about, what does it do? How do I use it? What are the prompts that I use there? So kind of the first thing that really jumps out to me is that I've been playing around with these AI tools for over a year now. Use lots of them to create lots of videos, lots of course content. And there's usually some challenges for people, especially when they're just starting out. And what I'm talking about specifically is being overwhelmed by too many tools. And just to put this in perspective, to give you an idea of how many tools are available and what tools are there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a website that I use, and I'm actually subscribed to it. There we go. So I'm just going to open up this website so that you can see it. This one is called, there's an AI for that. And this one is a tool that basically keeps track or provides a listing of all of the new AI tools that come out. And the part that always jumps out at me at this is if you look right at the top of the page here, we've got 28,000 new tools. Again, this is free to sign up for yourself. I'm not logged in on this one, but we've got 27,913 different tools available for that one. These ones just launched right now. And if I look at January, these are all of the new tools, 51 that are out there. December. So these are all new tools that are being developed every day. And each of these tools seems to do one little part, or is an AI tool that is specific doing one thing, whether it be doing headlines or creating PDFs or creating a script. So there's all of these tools that are available. And personally, I find it hard to keep up. I subscribe to some different kind of categories of stuff, and I recommend that you go take a look and perhaps consider doing that. But there's just so many choices available, and it can be awfully confusing about what is the right thing to do, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, that kind of thing. So even if you have the tools, the second thing is where do they use them? What is how do they get connected? What's the workflow before them? So you may find, for example, here's the latest tool of the week. You should buy it because there's a good deal on it and it does one little thing that you seem to be doing. But if you have a couple of those and you're thinking, oh, which part do I do in which order? What's the recipe that I need to use or apply here? So that's challenge number 2. And then number 3 is, even if you have all these tools, how do you use them to create good content that you're proud of, that represents the story and the experience that you have, and be able to create valuable content quickly and get rid of or remove all of the repetitive tasks that you may have done in the past so you can take advantage of them. So those are kind of the 3 main challenges that I think people run into. And the second question is, okay, if I have those and I have these challenges, what are the pieces or what are the tools that I might want to use? So I'm going to go through the list right now. And when I do that, remember, these are not in any particular order right now. And what I'm going to try and do is I'll do my best to kind of explain what it is and what it does, and then where it kind of gets used, and then some ideas on how to prompt or how to use prompts, if applicable, for the tool to be able to help you create your online courses, your video tutorials, everything to do with your education business. Okay, so the first one, of course, is the granddaddy of them all, and that's ChatGPT. And I'll pull up on these ones. What I'll do is I'll do my best here to pull up some of the screens where I'm not logged in, just so that you see what tools are actually like when you're not logged in. And on this one, let me just open up ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, if you're not lined up, you'll probably go to this page here. And they pitch it as get answers, find inspiration, and be more productive. And they have a whole bunch of example questions you can use there. ChatGPT is free. And the thing is, if you look on the ChatGPT, they have the pricing here that comes up. They have the zero plan, the $20 a month plan, and the pro plan, which I'm not signed up for. I've got a plus plan right here. You don't need it necessarily, but I highly recommend that you do that. And the reason is there's extended limits on the chats. That's the big thing that happens, is when you get into all of this prompting and all these things with chats, often they can get quite long. And if you're not using the plus model, you may kind of run out of memory space. I think the technical term is tokens, but if you run out of those tokens, then you're in a position where you can't really carry on the conversation you're having or the chat you're having, and you have to open up another one. So those are the ones that are available to you. I highly recommend, if you don't have it, obviously go and open it up and think of it as just a super smart research buddy that allows you to confirm things that you already know, do all of the research that's involved in, part of the things that you would normally do, going through and searching your notes. But that ability to really collect those and put those together it's the key to streamlining your workflow. So ChatGPT, you got to have the account, at least get started with that. When you're using prompts there, I do have a series of prompts for online course creation and education business creation. And it's a little framework called a gear framework. And what that is, that's the different types of prompts that you can use at different times. It's the chain of thought one, the conversational one, we've got explore, I've got a role-based one, and these different prompt styles. And they're really good about getting ChatGPT to answer the questions or be able to provide you responses that are going to be helpful to creating the courses. So that's the first one. Second one, of course, is my favorite. Well, technically it's my favorite right now for creating courses. And that particular one is, I'll open that one up, that one's Claude. And that's how I pronounce it, Claude. And again, I put all the links for here. I put the links for the sites that I'm going to, as well as the prompts that I recommend to be used on each of those. But Claude is this one here. And Claude is one that is a little bit different than ChatGPT in terms of the output that it produces. And I'm going to touch on that for a second. But for the most part, this one allows you to organize things, I think, a little bit better than ChatGPT. And the way that they do that is a thing called projects. And you have the ability to organize your content or your chats in particular groupings that, in my case, usually are courses or lessons. So Claude is one that's there. I'll go into where that kind of fits in on that one. It's similar to ChatGPT. You still have to do a prompt. You can upload your content as a resource to provide context to it. And this particular one, I think you'll see when I get into the processes, Claude is more skilled, in my opinion, at providing written output, whereas ChatGPT is more structured for organizing and putting a logical order to things. So I'll show you where I use those after. They do the same tasks. You have to give it a prompt and it's going to give you a response, but the types of responses that you're getting are different from both of those particular pieces. And the one thing I will tell you right now is when I'm playing around with these tools where you're prompting and you're getting a response, so you're asking a question, getting a response, with these two tools, I'll often play them off at each other. So what I'll do is I'll get a response from one and I'll take that response or the question and response and I'll ask it on the other tool. And it's kind of interesting because they answer differently and you may find something in one that goes, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or I didn't get that reply, or it answered it differently, and you can bring it back and have them play off on each other. So if you're creating online courses, I recommend that you have both of these tools, not just rely on one, because they're both AI tools, but they both give different kinds of responses. And other than that, you'll see when we go through the workflow, there's a place for each of these uniquely, and we'll touch on those a little bit further. The other one that, again, highly recommend, I think everyone has to have an account for, that particular one is called Perplexity. And again, I put the links here for them as well. Perplexity is free, 99% it's free. No. Yeah, I believe it's free, still free. What Perplexity does is it is a search engine of search engines. So what happens is if you make a search here, for example, who controls the Panama Canal, for example, was one of the ones that's there. What it does is instead of giving you a whole bunch of responses like Google, what it actually does is it will go search out, and it has some AI agents that go and look at all of the reference materials and provide a response back to you that is condensed and streamlined, but you'll also see that it also includes all of the reference materials as to where it got it by. So Perplexity is the ultimate search tool that condenses all of the research we normally would have done just on Google. And very rarely do I find myself using Google now. I use Perplexity because it just saves a whole bunch of time. And it also, the important part is it has the references. So if you're creating online courses or content and you get into this and you're going, oh, well, this is my content. I have a PDF or text or some other material that I've captured of my own. What are the other pieces of information or the research content that I should be including? And Perplexity allows you to have a wide enough view to give you some expanded ideas about how you can supplement or complement yours. And it also has the links to the reference materials. So that one's called Perplexity. Big picture, answering and clarifying a lot of questions. That one's about. For Perplexity, the thing that's cool with this one, I opened this one up again just so that you can see it. If you look here, the thing that's cool with that is the way when you prompt it, you ask a question, what it often does is it will give you 5 or 6 additional questions that you may not have thought of, so you can drill down on all of the particular pieces that are of interest to you. And each time you ask a question, it'll give you another 5 questions. So you can really get a nice view or a solid background in whatever your course is about if you're using a tool like Perplexity. The other one that, again, it has become more popular in the last couple months is one called Notebook LM, and that one's from Google. I'll open that one up for you now. The reason that this one is interesting for a lot of people is because when you're creating online courses or an education business, I'm hoping if you're teaching your own material is that you have a huge background of all of the stuff that you've done, videos you've done, papers, blog posts you've written, research that you've done where you've collected other people's information. Notebook LM allows you to basically make a big personal library about individual products. And when you use a prompt, what it does is it uses that background information as the context in the response that it gives. So it is very, very good at summarizing and condensing your content. You can ask it questions about your content. So if you have an idea for a course and it might be from 5 different documents or 10 different recordings that you've done and you want to condense it or put it into another format, Notebook is really, really good at referencing your existing material. And the best thing about this too is when you're using it, and again, this is another free tool. The other thing that it does that's really cool is it allows you to upload other people's content and or summarize YouTube videos. So if there's people that you subscribe to or people that you like, or perhaps you've purchased content or you have content, there's other content of people that you admire and you have the right to at least download their material, you can bring that into Notebook. And again, that allows you to use that as a reference. And the cool part with Notebook, and again, I have individual videos on these ones, but with Notebook, in terms of prompting, they have some built-in meta prompts that say, give me a summary, or even in some cases, the other one that's really cool right now that a lot of people talk about is create a podcast that I can listen to that summarizes my own content or someone else's content. So those preset, pre-prompted summaries, notes, anything that you have about the content that you have and other people's content, Notebook is great at organizing that for you. Other couple ones I'm just going to talk about. This one isn't necessarily an AI tool, but I am still absolutely a huge fan of everyone's favorite, Canva. And Canva is a visual design studio for creating graphics. The thing with Canva, of course, is that I am awful at graphics. I used to have to pay other people to create graphics, and this allows you to choose from, with the paid version, millions of, and actually, let me just pull it up here. I think it's hundreds of millions now. That one. Just pull this one up, see if, yeah. So this one, they have a free version, and they've got 1 million professionally designed templates. And then we've got 100 million plus photos, videos, graphics, and audio, and a brand kit. So this Canva tool, if you don't have an account, please go open one up. This allows you to create course thumbnails, course materials, and basically pick from the actual templates and graphics and images that are available that are all royalty free. And of course, there is AI built into this. I don't use it personally, but it is available for you to do a whole bunch of really neat things, whether it's creating a video or adding text to particular graphics that you're going to be using, or getting suggestions on text that can be put in. So Canva is one that I highly recommend. And again, I don't use the AI specifically, but I do use it for all the thumbnails on my courses. I use it for graphics within each individual lessons. And I also use it for all of the YouTube videos that I do, which is another whole story on YouTube strategies. And that one's pretty simple, because when you get into it, I just find a template that I like and I stick with it. It's a simple template. Whatever your brand, whatever your style, you can play around with that and have some fun with it. Sometimes I will talk about this right now, is I will use ideas from ChatGPT or Claude and say, look, I have to do a thumbnail, or I need a featured image for a course. Do you have suggestions? And again, I have some of the prompts here as well in the trainingsites.io campus. The link is there below if you haven't joined it free. I have some prompts, and it's actually prompts to what should I use as the thumbnail text, or do you have suggestions on a thumbnail that I can use? And it'll actually give you a description in one of those tools and allow you to create the tool that is being recommended by AI. The other one that I want to show you, and this one is especially important for courses, course creators, education businesses, is this one's called Napkin.ai, which is free. And do they have I think they do have a paid, hey, we're still all free. It's in beta, it's still all free, which is kind of cool. So this is the one that I love the most for graphics, because what it allows you to do is take the content that you have created with whatever AI tool, highlight the section that you want. And I have individual videos on how to do this, but in the Training Sites campus, but you basically just select some text from a document, from a Notion account, from a spreadsheet, anything that you have, you cut and paste it in. And what it allows you to do is select the individual bit of text, and it will give you a whole bunch of options for graphics that you can use. And you don't need any prompts. You basically just copy, paste, and then select the section you want a graphic for, and it creates all sorts of different graphics or visual representations of the text that you get created. And of course, one of the things that, when you're using ChatGPT, it can get pretty text heavy, right? This allows you to get a visual representation of the message or the content that you're trying to create and be able to have it set up quickly. And again, in your style, in your brand, and one that's appropriate for what it is that you're trying to do. So that one's called Napkin.ai. Highly recommend that one. And again, I put all the links to these below. I will just talk briefly, just where we're at right now. As I went through these tools, these are the tools that I use to research and create the content that I'm using when I'm putting a course together. There's two other ones I want to talk about right now that I want you to at least consider, or if you're serious about an education business, you're going to need one of them for sure. A second one depends on how you work, but I'll open these ones up for you so that you can see it. Let me just make sure I get the right, make sure I'm in the right place here. So I'm just going to open another screen here. So we'll do another screen so that we can see it. There is a tool called XMind that I use on a regular basis. XMind is an app that works on both Windows and on your Mac, and you can download it. And what this is this is a mind mapping tool. There is a free version that's available and an online version, but what this allows you to do is visually organize your entire course. So any of the work that you're doing with the AI tools, again, you get a listed output in many cases, or you'll get a spreadsheet or a table. You get content, but for me personally, I find it a lot easier if I can have like some big whiteboard set up, for example, or I've got this huge area where I can put a visual representation of the logical flow to see how things are connected. So I highly recommend that you get a mind mapping tool. There's a number of them available. The one that I use is called XMind. I'll put it below in the resources. It's simple, easy to use, and I do have some additional videos that show you how you can actually take the work that you're doing in ChatGPT or Claude and actually import it directly into tools like XMind, where it becomes a mind map based on the output. So you can actually create mind maps directly from the research and stuff that you're doing there. The other one that I'm going to show you right now, I'll open this one up. And again, this is one that's heavily user specific on what your particular style is. But if you are creating courses and if you are creating videos, education business, you are absolutely going to have something or some way to organize all of your thoughts, all of your research, and put it into a place that isn't the AI tool. Now, there's two kind of approaches to this. I use one called Fluent Boards, which is a project management tool right within my learning campus, trainingsites.io. This is an external tool, software as a service, and there's a whole bunch of templates that you can use to basically organize all of your thoughts, all of your research, and use that kind of as the home base for all the things that you do. I think personally you're going to have one of these tools, especially if it's an education business. If you're creating YouTube videos, doing stuff in a spreadsheet or some kind of notebook, it gets too hard after you've been doing a couple of them. And if you've watched some of the other videos that I've talked about, the thing to keep in the back of your mind is, and as much as we're looking at AI tools here, the next steps that are coming, the kind of AI agent one that I talked about in a video yesterday, you're going to have a private repository of your knowledge and information that all of these tools can work on to create courses. That's why I recommend a personally branded campus, and that's what Training Sites is, and that's what we teach people how to create so that you have a long-term value with your content and the courses that automatically get created by all of these AI agents. So you're going to have some way to organize your thoughts and all of the research that you're doing and all the things that you're putting together there. So those are the tools. I'll put them in a list below. Those are the ones. And again, those are the ones that are the basic ones minimum. I don't think you should go to, there's an AI for that, and take a look at the 29,000 tools and try and pick out individual ones for each of the particular tasks you're doing. I would pick just these ones, and these are the ones I still use today. I would just look at the particular tool that's appropriate for the job and learn how to do the prompts that get me the best output for creating my online courses, researching my online courses and tutorials, creating the market materials, delivering all the other pieces that are involved when you're teaching someone online. So, these are the core ones getting started, especially when you're a beginner. So I'll put the links to these and also the links to the videos and the prompts that show you how to use them. Now, a lot of people ask me, they say, James, okay, I get these tools, where do I use which one and what particular order should they be in? So I want you to, take a pen down right now when I'm writing this. And I don't know if I'll open this up. Maybe what I'll do is I'll open it up on a page and just kind of expand my notes, the talking points here, so that you can see it. So just give me a second. We'll make this a little bit bigger, and I'll show you kind of the way that I put it together, the workflow for how this works. Yeah, so, and let's do this one here. Okay, so here's the workflow, or how I use these tools in a process to create a course, to create an individual tutorial or video, to create a YouTube video, to create marketing material, everything to do with an education business. This is my workflow. Now, I have a whole video in the trainingsites.io campus. There's actually 28 videos that go through all of the prompts, or how to use prompts for all of these pieces. If you want to use it as reference, it's there. You can certainly go and get access to that. But this workflow, these kind of 5 pieces, are the way that I do things, and I find that they work really well. And I can kick out, I do a video a day, for example, right now on YouTube, plus additional videos for course content. But once you get a system down using these tools, you can do stuff quickly and create content that is your content, not just capturing stuff and regurgitating it, but being able to apply your expertise and your knowledge and your skills into what you create as content that you teach. So here's kind of the pieces that I kind of work through. The first one here is where I'm talking about the boards, Notion, notes, and ideas. Again, I use Fluent boards in my campus in the WordPress site. If you have a way to organize and manage your content, the ideas that you have for courses, I put Notion, but I always start with something and I capture them all the time. I've shown it before in a couple other videos. I think right now I have 178 different YouTube videos in my workboard in different stages, but it's a way to keep track of those and see how they're related to each other, and see if they should be combined or not combined. So you're going to need a way to organize that. Secondly, what I do is when I have those ideas and I go, this is an appropriate one, I want to work on this one because it's the right time to do that. What I do is I do my research for all of these particular pieces, and I use Perplexity to get a big picture of the idea that I have. So I put together all the choices, I go to Perplexity and I start asking some big questions. When I'm asking big questions, I want to get the additional references or the other people that have done work or answered similar questions, see how it fits in with what I'm doing, and then be able to drill down on those so that I have all of the background information that I need to create my course or create my video. And remember, Perplexity, it gives you prompts. They're actually available to you based on what you asked. And the best part is they have the references. So if it's a blog post or a PDF or an academic paper or a YouTube video or places that it came from, you have access to that you can now use. And where do you use it? Well, what I do is I go from Perplexity, I take the information that I want and I put it into Notebook LM. And Notebook LM, the cool part of that is you can upload all of your reference material about the topic that you're working on. So if you have PDFs, if you have YouTube videos, if you've got particular documents, text files, audio, Zoom recordings, you can upload that into Notebook, and Notebook does some really cool things with summarizing your content. So if you have too much information, you can use Notebook and some of the built-in prompts or tools that are there to summarize your content. It's not going all out to the internet to do searches and stuff. You can have it working only on the content that you've brought in. And you can organize that into projects or notebooks. And what that means is you can do individual courses or lessons and keep only the reference material that's there that you want to apply this particular course. So do the boards, get them into Perplexity, drill down a little bit, get it organized or summarized into Notebook, and then from Notebook, what I'll do is I take the summaries and the ideas and I go to ChatGPT, and I use ChatGPT for Couple things. The syllabus, the course outlines, the logical flow of taking those summaries and saying, here's where I want to start, here's where I want to end. What is the steps or process that I should use or teach based on the research that I've done and the parts that I'm interested in? And that's where we talk about context, right? So you want to be able to use one of those other teaching frameworks. Remember the two that I talked about, the Teach framework and the Gear framework? Those are ways to prompt, especially in ChatGPT, that you will get responses, which is the syllabus, the lexicons, the organizations, the logical flows, the analogies of how to explain stuff. That's what I use ChatGPT for. And then if I have those out, and I've got a finished syllabus, often what I'll do is a little cheat here. I will take the syllabus and export it as a mind map into XMind. But if I haven't done that yet, and I just have my course flow, the lessons that I want, the talking points that I want in each of those lessons, what I'll do from there is I take that and I will use Claude to flush out the language and help me explain it. Remember I said the Claude and ChatGPT do something that's pretty similar to each other? The difference for me is if I want technical information, I would go to Claude. If I want logical information, I go to ChatGPT. Anything that's structured, ChatGPT does a much better job, I think, than Claude. On the other hand, if I want to explain something like a human that sounds like me, and I have some prompts for that if you need some help on doing that, called special instructions. But if I want something that is consumable by someone that I'm teaching, a certain level of person that I'm teaching that wants to be comfortable with the content and have the analogies and the stories and that written big picture about what it is being taught, I'll use Claude to do that. It does a much better, in opinion, to be able to have personal, expressive content created for you in text. And once I have that from Claude, what I do after that is I go and I take it and I put the sections that I want in Claude that I've taken, I put them into Napkin so I can generate graphic visual representations of the text that's there. So those are the steps that I go through when I'm creating course content. It's like have your research boards or Notion or whatever way you keep your notes. I use Perplexity. I do all of my drill down of Perplexity. After that, I put it into Notebook to summarize it. When I have my summarized pieces together, I go to ChatGPT to do a syllabus or course outlines and talking points. Once I have those in place, I go to Claude to flush it out, expand on it, and make it a conversational human with a storyline. And then I take that written finished text and I will generate a script. Or actually, I didn't mention that step. The other thing will do with Claude is create scripts, video scripts. And again, I kind of jumped over that, but the syllabus, the lessons, all of that content, including a script, whether it be a video script like this or a lesson or course language. Once I have that text, though, what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll bring it to Napkin to actually create graphics that are the proper way to represent what it is I'm trying to teach. So those are the steps I go through. The other pieces here is some people may be going, okay, that's interesting, James. I get that. Fine. I'm not really comfortable on camera yet. I need a little bit of help getting comfortable and being able to, if I read from a script, I don't sound like me. I'm not comfortable there. If you have a faceless channel, or you do want to be able to do this exact same thing, but not have to be the person that's in front of the camera, there's some additional AI tools that we can talk about. And what I'll do is I'll go through those in the next video on how you can take all of the stuff we've just done and add a couple more AI tools that will do two key things for you. One is create a verbal avatar for yourself, so you can actually train it to sound like your voice. And then the other one is to actually create a virtual image of yourself or physical avatar for yourself and combine the two together. So you're not in front of the camera, but it sounds and it looks like you. those are the 2 ones I'll do in the past. And if you haven't looked, there's actually 2 more. I have separate videos on them. I'll put them in the link. New ones from Google just in the last 3 weeks, where you can actually use the output that we've created, give it to the new Google Gemini engine, and it will actually create the entire videos, courses, and lessons for you. So I hope you enjoy this. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io. Make sure to go and join. Like and subscribe to the channel. I do these every day, or try to do them every day, usually 5 to 6 a week. And everything that I do here is about starting, building, and growing education business, building your own personal private campus, and learning how to use AI tools to help you do that. So take care, expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow.